Democrats are giving Trump and Republicans plenty of political fodder after another good night at the ballot box for the president. First up is New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. He is raising eyebrows for these comments about America.
Ooh. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. We have not reached greatness. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged. We will reach greatness when discrimination and stereotyping against women, 51% of our population, is gone.
The governor clarifying those remarks, saying America is great and will reach her full greatness with full equality. There's also Democratic Congressman Steve Cohen apologizing after saying this about Republican Senate candidate, she's currently Congressman, Marsha Blackburn.
The big orange president, he's going to come down here and he's going to endorse Marsha Blackburn. Because Marsha Blackburn, if he says, jump off the Harahan Bridge, she'll jump off the Harahan Bridge. I wish he'd say that.
That's so rude. Okay, Congressman Maxine Waters' birthday is today. Here's her wish.
My biggest birthday wish would be that we're able to get a leader of this country who represents us, who has the respect of all of our allies. I would wish that we could remove him from office.
Actually, the president wished her a happy birthday today and said anyone who sees her should wish her a happy birthday, too. Meanwhile, Congressman Keith Ellison scored a victory in the Minnesota primary race for the state's attorney general just days after domestic abuse accusations against him surfaced. Ellison is also being criticized for past appearances with controversial Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. So let's start with Andrew Cuomo. I found something of interest, Greg.
Really?
A tale of two Cuomos. In 1994, Mario Cuomo, his father, in the most eloquent speech of his career, it was called that at the time, said America is the most magnificent mosaic that is America. And then Andrew Cuomo said America was never that great.
Yeah, do you know, interesting fact. So Andrew and Chris, right, brothers?
Yes, brothers.
Did you know that the movie Dumb and Dumber is based on them?
I did not.
Yeah.
No.
Interesting fact. Look, okay, here's the big point. You look at all this inflammatory rhetoric, and you got to realize that we're being sold a bill of goods about this era being super divisive and awful and evil. I was at the Nixon Library over the weekend. When you walk in, you see the first year, which is 1968 in the museum. You walk through there. War, riots, domestic bombings, domestic terror, internal, external threats, assassinations. Communists were ascendant during that period. The only thing missing was asteroids and Rosie O'Donnell. It was a terrifying era. So people have to realize that this is not an era of great conflict. Right now, we're in an era of peace and prosperity, but we're being sold that this is the worst possible time to be alive, when in fact, pace Cuomo, America is great. We've never eradicated more poverty in history. We have more people working. We have the highest rate of optimism in almost 2 decades.
Yep.
So the idea that I think he's biting into the media world that of an apocalyptic end, but actually, all you got to do is go back to '68 and see that
Can I add one thing? You
Yes.
sent me a text when you were there, and you said if social media had been around then, the country may not have survived.
Yeah, if Twitter and Facebook were around in 1968, we wouldn't be around now.
So interesting. Let me ask you about this, Jesse, because we're seeing this several times where a candidate, a 2020 hopeful, goes out and says something quite provocative, like Elizabeth Warren said about the police at Netroots Nation. Then they end up having to walk it back. They backtrack it, or they end up apologizing. Are they all just in this demolition derby to see who can knock each other out?
Well, historically, you'd think the Democrats are ready to win, because that's what usually happens in a midterm like this, and they're ahead a little bit on the congressional ballot. So you just think they just keep their mouths shut, nominate normal centrist candidates, raise a lot of money, and be anti-Trump. They can't contain themselves, though, because their base is so crazy and frothing at the mouth so much, they get carried away at these events and they say the things they think their radical left-wing base wants to hear. And that's when you get things like Andrew Cuomo, who had to walk this back less than 24 hours later. I agree with Greg. I think America was great when we defeated the Nazis, when we won the Cold War, when we put a man on the moon, when we invented the internet and the iPhone and all that stuff.
Don't forget Tang.
And Tang. Don't forget Tang.